Welcome back to Next Top Singer. We are still in the casting round. Please watch episode 1 for an introduction. Auditions may still be open, so please check the description for updated information. To make it in, you have to get a yes signal from at least 2 of the judges. 2 no signals means you are out. If you make it in, please read the description for instructions, and don't forget to confirm your role.
When I see the way you act, wonder when I'm coming back. I could do about anything. I could even learn how to love like you. Love like you. I always thought I might be bad. Now I'm sure that it's true, 'cause I think you're so good, and I'm nothing like you. Look at you go, I just adore you. I wish that I knew what makes you think I'm so special.
Zeela.
Flat in points, but the big issue being the timing. It was way off, and as I said before, if the timing's off by that much, it's not a good sign. I don't think that's one you can turn around quickly.
Well, you sang I could even learn how to love, and I was about to say you could even learn how to sing, because I mean you're not ready for a competition yet. Yeah, I know. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. You need more training, but I give you props for those difficult half notes there. That can be quite tricky for singers to really hit those accurately, and you did do that relatively, so I have to give you props for that, but you weren't on pitch throughout.
I was a little bit nicer. I gave a 5, but I gave a no. There are pitch issues and timing issues throughout the song. I think there's a nice voice in there, but I think training is something that's going to be very big for you. If you don't already have a vocal coach, I would get one and I would work on it, and maybe if there's another season, come back after you've had time to kind of grow a little bit as a singer. I think there's a great foundation to work with there. I just don't think it's there yet.
We start with stars in our eyes. We start believing that we belong, but every sun doesn't rise, and no one tells you where you went wrong. And step out of the sun if you keep getting burned. Step out of the sun because you've learned on the outside, always looking in. Will I ever be more than I've always been? 'Cause I'm tapping on the glass, waving through a window. I try to speak, but nobody can hear, so I wait around for an answer to appear while I'm watching people pass, waving through a window.
So Cody, this is actually one of my favorite songs, so I really wanted to like this, but the pitch was all over the place. I lost count of how many times you changed the key, and that's not good. But you do have potential though. You have a very soft and nice voice, but I can't give this more than a 3, so it's gonna be a no.
Okay, go next, and it's gonna be a surprise, but this is another 5, borderline, and I tilted to yes. I think there are a lot of pitch issues. I was not a fan of this song as an audition song, but there is something about the voice that I still think would be worth hearing again. So I'm going to be the nice one, and I'm going to lean to yes.
I think it's a great audition song, actually. He just didn't pick the best part of the song, and he didn't deliver it as it should be.
It just wasn't my favorite song.
If you compare it to Ben Platt's version, then you can hear that it is a great audition song, actually. It just wasn't for him.
And I'll give a yes as well, so we get a chance to see something else. Need a better song choice or a better part of the song to show off more ability, but definitely deserves the chance to at least do that.
Wonder if it's because I like that song so much.
I'm so happy Mark is back.
Have you heard the original, both of you?
I've heard both versions, yeah.
Interesting.
I have not heard the original. I will say that.
I mean, to me, it wasn't the right melody, and that's a key thing for me.
Oh, the pitch was bad. I mean, there were pitch issues throughout the song, but I still think there was a quality of the voice that's worth giving another shot to.
Yeah, that's fair enough. If you are on pitch next time, then you're really gonna win me over, so that's really important. Contact the mentors before you send it in.
us underground. I don't care how far you can set my broken bones, and I know CPR. Hey, you can punch real good. You've lasted longer than I thought you would. So hey, Mr. No Name Kid, if some night you're free, wanna fight for me? If you're still alive, I would fight for you. If you would fight for me.
I gave a yes. I gave a 9. I said very airy voice. There was a nice lift, nice control. I really, really like this a lot. It was almost a 10, but I thought then maybe I was just being a little too nice. So I pulled back and said 9, but to me, it kind of is. You know what? I'm giving her a 10 just because I feel like it. So it's a yes and a 10.
Yeah, and I'm nowhere near a 10, but I'm nowhere near a 10 for anyone. So it's one of those things. So it's a 4.5 in my slightly different system, which is good enough for a yes. Good potential. Just need to point out that don't let the voice acting part of some songs pull down the singing performance. I think there was a few times where the transition between the two wasn't as smooth as it needed to be, and it threw off a few bits.
Okay, so for me, Olivia, don't listen to Mark because this was exquisite. I mean, I love this so much. This is actually the first audition that I just had to download because I had to hear it with reverb and EQ and stuff because I think you have such a great potential in your voice. You have such great dynamics in this and range. There were plenty of wow moments, and that vibrato too. I mean, the way you hold it and then release it, you really know what you're doing. My one concern though is about versatility, because in my experience, voices like this aren't necessarily the most versatile, but maybe you can break that stereotype. The audition itself was perfect, so this is a perfect 10 for me, and this is the one and only 10 I gave to everyone in this first wave.
사랑해 널 이 느낌 이대로 그려봤던 헤매임의 끝 이 세상 속에서 반복되는 슬픔이 이젠 안녕 수많은 알 수 없는 길 속에 희미한 빛은 안 쫓아가 언제까지라도 함께하는 거야 다시 만난 나의 세계.
Very nice voice, and I just want to see what he can do in other rounds, so pretty much it for me.
Similar score for me. Sounds like he belongs in a boy band with that tone he's got going on, which is nice and pleasant. Could add a bit more dynamic onto the softer notes. That was what was really missing for me.
So for me, Dubu, it was a tad nasal, but you do have an interesting kind of voice. It sounds like you have a bubble that is stuck in your throat, which gives a very distinct resonance. So I really like this, and I gave this a 7.
少しずつ賑やかになっていくのこの海辺の街テーブルパラソルストライプこの夏のかき氷どんな味がラインナップ暑いヘブン8月のマリーナ溶け込んだらもうどんなアングルもパスタルみたいスイカマンゴー青い波のソルト味わい尽くして丸ごとシーズン駆け出しているサンゴのアンクレット
Jinky, you actually remind me a little bit of Phoebe and Haruka from season 1, because you have this very unique quality to your voice, a J-pop voice, but it sounds a bit thin for me, and I know that is a very common thing, especially in J-pop, so just think of bringing that versatility, because that is my one concern with these kind of voices, because they're not usually that versatile. So try to bring some versatility next time.
If I just feel like me, will you stay on my side? Or are you gonna say goodbye?
I gave an 8 based on the song. I think it's a very beautiful J-pop sound. I think she brought that really well. But speaking of Phoebe, when you have something that is so on point to a certain genre, versatility does worry me because, again, we had issues with other contestants who were very J-pop, not being able to break out of that. And that's a concern for me. I'm giving a yes just because I thought that this was professional, amazing in the way that I could see this already being released in Japan. I could see her being a professional J-pop singer, but I'm concerned that we're going to be falling into that same pitfall of every single category is going to sound like a J-pop category, even when it's not. So I'm concerned, but I'm going to let it pass with an 8.
Good enough for a pass for me as well. Just echoing the other two, we want variety in the later rounds, is why there's different genres for the various rounds. So just something to bear in mind and make sure you show that for us.
City of stars, are you shining just for me? City of stars, there's so much that I can't see. Who knows? I felt it for the first embrace I shared with you. But now all dreams may finally come true.
A swift no for me. Issues with timing and very flat throughout.
This kind of sounds like me when I'm reading lyrics that I don't know the melody to. People usually laugh at me when I do that, and so did I for this. So sorry, I just can't.
I actually think that it's not so much your voice, it's the register. You were kind of stressing a little bit on those low notes. I don't think that you're a bass, even though you're trying to sing everything in a very bass voice. I think if you would have transposed it a little bit to a higher octave, I think it might have gone better for you. I think it falls to sound choice and not knowing where your pitch is. And I think if you had a vocal coach, they might be able to train you to find where your vocal style is, and it might be better, but it's a no for me.
Hello, my name is Emma, and I will be singing Fire on Fire by Sam Smith. I don't say a word, but still you take my breath and steal the things I know. There you go, saving me from out of the cold. Fire on fire would normally kill us, but this much desire, together we're winners. They say that we're out of control and some say we're sinners, but don't let them ruin our beautiful rhythms. 'Cause when you unfold me and tell me you love me and look in my eyes, you are perfection, my only direction. It's fire on fire.
Emma is back. Okay, I guess I can go.
Emma, Bobema, Banana, Fama, Okay, sorry.
Okay, Emma, welcome back. As you know, I was a big fan of you last season, or 2019, I mean. I just said last season. I don't know why. It's
You
because...
always do.
Yeah, I mean the last season that we had auditions in, so 2019. Yeah. I remember your Broken Glass original song. That is one of my top 20 entries throughout season 2017 to 2020.
And I
So I had really high expectations here. You have a beautiful high voice, but I know that you have so much more that you can give. I wanted to hear your entire register, not just your head voice. And it was also low quality in this, or I mean low energy in this. You need more energy, and the audio quality was also bad. So I can't give this more than a 5.5.
Good enough to get through for me. I think big mistake to think that Sam Smith is in your range. Very tricky artist to try and nail down, even though, a lot of where he goes is high. It's high in a very different way to what you would normally expect. So I think the song choice really tripped you up, even though it seemed maybe that it was in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, I think I remember Emma myself. I think I do. I gave a 6. I was teetering between a 5.5 and a 6. I think you have a very sweet voice, but there's kind of like a shyness about it, and it kind of comes. I don't know if you have a lack of confidence or if it just comes across as not so confident. I think if you would punch it a little more and allow yourself to be bigger and a little bit more showy at times when necessary, I think you can do well. So I am going to say yes.
Summertime, and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, and the cotton's high. Oh, your daddy's rich, and your ma is good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry.
It was a very unique take on this song. It was a bit of a risk for me, but it worked really well in my opinion. Need to watch the low register because at times, I don't know if maybe it's my headphones. I don't know what it is, but sometimes when some people are trying to get those low notes, the sound kind of disappears almost as if they don't quite make it. It could be maybe a sound issue on my part, but I still think it was very enjoyable, and I am looking forward to seeing the next time you sing.
Yeah, so for me... Oh, sorry. You can go.
Sure. It's definitely not a headphone issue, because F's in the chat for that low note. That was a major fail. Going into the low register doesn't mean that you just fall off the thing. You've still got to be able to hold it. But some interesting character overall, so fine to go for a pass here.
A pass? Does that mean a yes or a no? I guess it means
it's a yes.
Yeah, because sometimes when you say pass, you mean that they go, so it's a bit confusing.
It's like a passing grade in this case.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
So for me, Shawn, you have a very exciting texture in your voice. It was a very beautiful ending with that "Don't You Cry" part. That was almost ethereal. Overall, it was a very haunting quality to this song, but you need to sing out more in your future entries.
I wish I had a nickel, I wish I had a dime, I wish I hadn't gave myself a fabulous time. Baby, you don't know my mind. When you see me laughing, I'm laughing just to keep from crying. Look at your mama, see what you got it done. You got money, now you broke and run. Baby, you don't know my mind. When you see me laughing, I'm laughing just to keep from crying. You made me get mad and you made me get sad. The going gets tougher than you have ever had. Baby, you don't know my mind. When you see me laughing, I'm laughing just to keep from crying.
I think it's a very nice rocker voice. I think I would have liked to have heard a little more range and some power to just hear how much you can belt, but yet control it. All that said, though, I still think it was solid enough to pass.
For me, you do have a great amount of energy in this and that great vibrato, but it wasn't 100% on pitch throughout. Still, I hear a potential classic rock singer in this, so it's quite exciting.
It's a clean sweep, good blues rock voice that's got potential. Play around with the volume a little bit and give us a bit more dynamic that way. And I think it will really make your performance pop.
I feel bored tonight. I look to my guitar, she's shaking her head, shaking her head. She says, "You've been a bad, bad guy. You can no longer play or sing 'cause your head's in the sink." Orpheus, under the influence, you used to be a man that'd croon, "I love you."
So Michael, you don't have much control because that falsetto is kind of bad to me. It sounds strained at some points, but you do have a lot of energy, so it was barely a yes for me. I gave this a 5.
I'm the opposite. I gave a 5, but it leaned to no for me. It was too all over the place. There's potential in his voice, but I think this is another case of get a vocal coach to kind of bring that voice out more and also learn how to pick songs that will complement your voice. This song just was not a great choice.
So no from me as well with a 3. Picking a whaley track to cover isn't a way of patching up a lack of control, and I think there's too many issues there that need ironing out.
Okay, can you hold on a couple of seconds? I need to listen to this again.
12 seconds later.
Okay, okay, I can totally see where you're coming from. I mean, the strain was just... I think I was a bit too nice on this, to be honest. But I'm still gonna keep the yes, because I was kind of leaning towards that. But he's not in anyway, so I guess that doesn't matter.
They just intrude and exclude this impossible year. There's no you and me this impossible year. Only heartache and heartbreak and gin made of tears. The bitter pill I swallow, the scar souvenir, that tattoo, your last bruise, this impossible year. There's never air to breathe, there's never in-betweens. These nightmares always hang on past the dream.
Matt Dean, I gave a 7. I'm torn. I think there are a lot of issues in the song, but the quality of his voice is so nice that I'd really hate to say no. So I think it comes down to song choice and just making sure that you're watching your pitch and your timing. But I think that there's enough of a voice there that makes me definitely want to hear you come back.
This is a decent pass for me. I liked the sort of jazz, big band kind of feel to your voice. And if you can get that to translate into the other genres and bring some of that in, but still be able to adapt it, I think you're really onto something going forward.
Yeah, definitely. I think, Matt, you have a very showy voice. I really feel your desire to perform in this. You have a good sustain in your voice, but I need more of a memorable moment in a song like this and in a song in general. I mean, I can't say this was a song that I'm really gonna remember after this, so keep that in mind.
So your best friend screwed you over, acted nice when she not nice. Well, I have some advice, 'cause it's happened to me twice. Here's my secret strategy, it always works because the world doesn't end, it just feels like it does. So raise your right finger and solemnly swear, whatever they say about me, I don't care. I won't twist in knots, join your game, I will say you make me mad. And if you treat me bad, I'll say you're bad. And if I eat alone from this moment on, that's just what I'll do. 'Cause I'd rather be me. I'd rather be me. I'd rather be me than be with you.
So Sheridan, your mic is peaking a little bit and your voice sounds a little bit immature, but you do have a lot of energy, so I gave this a 6.
And then for me, it is just about. You're on the threshold of what I'm accepting. A little too much voice acting and not enough singing for the overall performance, but what we did get from the singing made me want to hear some more.
And I basically said kind of the same thing. The voice is a little green, a little bit kind of fresh, but it's a voice that may grow in the audition phase, like as we continue. And then as we get to different rounds, should she make it through more rounds? I'm going to give a yes, but it's kind of a hesitant yes, because I still think that it might be just a little bit green, a little bit raw for the competition, but it's a hesitant yes, so.
This sinking ship, all rusted brown, it leans for land, desperate not to drown. Oh, our machines will come and go, they'll bow with age even as they grow. And oh, my son, when you get old, I hope your heart is light enough for you to float. And oh, my son, when you get old, I hope my heart is light enough for you to float.
I gave a 6, which is passable. It's another audition that makes me feel torn. The song was a bit of a mess. It was, to me, off pitch-wise and timing-wise, but the quality of the voice has so much potential that I really would hate to say no outright. I think there's just so much potential in the voice, but the song itself was just, the audition was a mess. And so I was really torn about saying yes, but I still kind of do want to say yes, but it's going to be kind of a low yes. It's going to be like I'm going to go with a 5.
I have got a no-go on this one. It's just so flat, and I can't really say yes to that, unfortunately. It's just too far off from something I see being salvageable.
But you did say yes, Andrea, right?
I said yes.
So,
I said yes.
Yeah, okay. Because I actually think you have a very jazzy quality to your voice, kind of like Heather from 2019. I mean, not quite up to her level, so don't get mad at me, Mark and Andrea, but it kind of reminded me of her, actually. It was a little bit pitchy, though, so I agreed with Mark to some extent, but I still gave this a 7, actually. And you're through, so I guess I don't have to argue about this, otherwise I was going to.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more auditions in the next episode. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.